Are you looking to join Cycling Men of Leisure at one of our events this summer?
You know I am.
Well, then where are we going?
Here's what we're doing. We're going to start our ride season off at the very end of May, going through the first week of June at the Big Bragg. We're going across Georgia yet again. Always a good time. Then in July, we are hooking up in Indiana to do Rain. That is a one-day ride across Indiana, 165 miles. Should be a good time. And then we are going to go to the Bourbon Country Burn in September down in Kentucky. We're going to do some riding, and we're going to get to tour some great distilleries and do some tasting. So it's going to be a great time.
I'm really looking forward to all three. Now, I know that normally 160 plus miles does not sound leisurely, but it's one that's been on our bucket list, and we're going to knock it off this year. So if you're looking to join us, you can find us on our social media pages or go to bragg.org, bourbonCountryBurn.com, and rainride.org. So look for those, and we'd look forward to joining you.
Well, it's time for Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure, the podcast for cyclists who understand that riding is not just about getting to the destination, but the experience along the way. Now, here are the original Cycling Men of Leisure, Adam and Michael.
Hello. As always, I'd like to welcome you to Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure. As always, I'm Adam, and once again, lucky for me, I'm joined with my good friend, Mr. Michael Sharp.
It is lucky for you. Hello, Adam. How you doing?
I'm good, and it is lucky, buddy. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good seeing you, man.
It's been about 20 minutes.
Give or take.
Just kidding. Anything new?
Well, if you happen to be watching us on YouTube, my office/studio is a construction zone right now. But once I get it back, it's going to be new and improved, and it's going to be awesome. And the daughter finished up school today, so we had a big party. They had a big party, and yeah.
You think YouTube stuff will pull me if I say school's out for summer?
Yeah, because that's not even close. So I think you're fine.
Yeah, I think we're good. So is that some baseboard there behind you, leaning on the wall?
No, that is actually acoustic panels.
Oh,
I'm putting some acoustic panels in my office too to even improve the sound quality even more.
So not only did you buy the fancy microphone, you now are making sure you don't have any loud, obnoxious sounds.
Well, against this one wall, but plus I like the way it looks. So, kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, some of the YouTube videos, actually, you and I were learning how to do a few things. They were always talking about those acoustic panels. That's pretty cool. Well,
how about
you? Well, finishing up a pretty big work project for the job that pays me, and thank you for the residents of Livingston County who pay me. I appreciate that. I'm really happy to have this project done. To be honest, I actually sent the final email today, which I'll talk about it. I was tasked with like a 6-7 month project of trying to get new software for the residents who ride the bus. I'm in transportation. If this is your first time, I doubt it, but if it is, I'm in transportation. Hey, look, you got your viewfinder. Are you bored or what?
Yeah, let me know when you're done.
Oh my gosh. I can see your eyeballs through that. It's really creepy. So anyways, project is done. I'm happy and ready to move on with my life. I'm done.
Oh, okay. I apologize, listeners. All right.
Next. Hey, we had some guesses on Listener Spotlight.
We did.
But Why don't you give us the clues first?
Okay, the clues are as followed for this episode's listener spotlight. This community started out in a territory named for a different state in the early 1800s. The early major industry was textiles. It is home, or was home, to 9 Civil War generals, and they were not all from the same side. The town's name changed due to tensions leading up to the War of 1812. And during World War II, the military established a big presence in this community. And the final one was this city could have been the inspiration for a well-known Elton John song.
All right. I'm going to give you the guesses in order that they came in.
Okay.
2 minutes after recording, Adam Baranski said Huntsville, Alabama. Well, but before you say yes
Which
or no,
I have no
mine,
clue how that relates to Candle in the Wind.
it's not Candle in the Wind, it's Rocket Man. So, anyways, so on March 25th, Wade Paul said, my guess for listener spotlight is Huntsville, Alabama. It meets all the other criteria. The hints were pretty vague, though. A lot of places in that area have all the same general descriptions, starting about the same time, different name at founding, part of the different famous state. And then we got our friend Alex Bell, and Alex Bell gave us someplace else. And he says, my guess for listener spotlight is Lexington, Virginia.
Okay.
Here's my reasoning for my guess. Not necessarily in the order of the clues. The town was originally known as Campbell's Ford, but was changed to Lexington to honor the Battle of Lexington. Gilbert Campbell was operated a ford across the, is it Maury River? Maury? Maury River?
Yeah.
Was an early settler born in Scotland. 9 generals were born there or in the area, including Stonewall Jackson and Robert Lee. There is a yellow brick road, which is leading to the Elton John song.
There you go.
Learning Center in Lexington. Textiles were a part of early Lexington's history, but not a dominant industry like in other states of the South. Virginia Military Institute expedited commissioned officers, graduates during World War II. My answer to the first clue may be a little weak. Lexington was in the colony of Virginia, which became a state of Virginia. And then just last night, our regular guest, Jeff, said, my guess for listener spotlight in Huntsville, Alabama. City started out as a territory named for a different state in the early 1800s, which was the Mississippi Territory. Early major industry in the area was textiles. Cotton. During World War II, the military established a very big presence in this area, the Redstone Arsenal. The town changed its name prior to the War of 1812. The original name was British in origin. Twickenham. 9 Civil War generals, if I could speak English and slow down, were born in or very near this city. Not all fought for the same side. 5 for the Confederacy and 4 for the Union. Could have been the inspiration for a well-known Elton John song, Rocket Man. And Jeff says, which is a wise man to say this, my wife actually figured this out. So we have 3 guesses. And for the first time, I actually gave up a guess that could possibly be the answer without saying St. Louis, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Sharp, tell us from our guesses, is anybody correct?
Adam, you were incorrect.
Oh, man. What?
I'm just jacking with you. You were actually right.
Was I really?
You were right.
Holy!
He actually got one right after like 60 of these.
Now, be honest. Tell the truth. I know you are on this show. Did I or did I not say 2 minutes after recording Huntsville, Alabama?
You said you did some you came up with Huntsville.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 2 minutes, but yeah. It was originally a British name, and because of the War of 1812, they changed it. The military moved in and had, as Jeff had said, the Redstone Arsenal. They also had a chemical weapons plant there, and also rocket research was done there.
Say that 5 times real fast.
Yeah.
Rocket research.
And it was part of the Mississippi Territory originally. So, Adam, Wade, Jeff, well done. Must have made it too easy.
Well, listen, let's be honest. If I got it.
Good point. So there we go. Congratulations, everyone.
So, truth be told, what we actually learned a few things, though. So after we recorded, normally we end the recording, make sure the upload all works out, because it's all uploads to the internet. If have never done a podcast, we use a piece of software that uploads in the background. And I went on a tangent, and Michael never gives me the answer, which I'm glad that he doesn't. And so I said, I think it's Rocket Man. And you were kind of defiant and said, well, why would you just, Elton John had many songs. Well,
there's tons of them.
And I just kept searching. I'm like, okay, what are cities with NASA? And I told you about the NASA Dome in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned that was the Glenn Campbell Research Center. And so, and then you found something very interesting. NASA has a couple of buildings that they're not going to tell you about. You found those, but it was like, no.
Yeah,
no
they
web
have
page.
some. If you look under, look up NASA and you look up all their locations, there is like 2 undisclosed locations that are just numbers.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very interesting. It's like, what goes on at number 3 and number 7 or whatever numbers they were. But yeah, it was like just some random, doesn't give a state, doesn't give a town, doesn't give anything, just number, whatever. So there's something dark going on there. I'm quite sure.
Well, I appreciate all the work you put into it, and as we've been very transparent before, we get together for a few rough draft sessions of not pre-recording, but we kind of go over the outline, and I just kept being very, very cocky by saying, hey, I got this one right. And so for the first time in 4 seasons,
I'll give it to you. Yeah, you were very, very, yes, this is the right answer. How did you feel when I said it wasn't?
I actually was hoping that Alex was correct in the Yellow Brick Road. So, hey, I have no problem being wrong. I mean, that's all good. But
you got one under your belt now. Congratulations, buddy.
Oh, buddy. Well, that's pretty good. Well, I know that people highly enjoy the listener spotlight. I know people like to send in guesses, talk about it, even when we see our friends, and there's been a couple recommendations for the website, and we've got someone working on something for us really cool. So I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet, but something cool for our website coming up. So let me move down the list here. We showed off our Big Brag team jersey on the website and got a lot of positive responses. So this year the jersey, if you don't know, when we go to Bragg, bicycle ride across Georgia, if you don't ever ride Bragg and don't care about Bragg, I'm sorry, but it's kind of the spotlight for us. It's our first big adventure for 2025 coming up. This year we had someone named Brian Fritz, BrianLeeFritz.com. Great artist. If you're looking for a picture of your bicycle, he now does cars, birds, all kinds of stuff. Very talented. He also does jersey design, and he helped us with our jersey. He had a couple different versions. We had just something different for the men and the women. And Michael, kudos to you. You came up with the idea of why don't we become one? So what we did is we have the same color, same theming, and we put the men's logo on the men's jersey and the women's logo on the women's. But if you saw us all in one big picture, and we'd all look the same, all is 43 this year. So pretty excited. Mm-hmm. That is on our Facebook page if you're curious and want to look at it. So thank you, Brian. BrianLeeFritz.com. Reach out to him if you're looking for some sort of nice piece of art with your bicycle. He can help you out. How's your packing coming?
It's coming. I'm slowly moving in that direction. I have out in my other room over here a bunch of stuff laid out on the floor. So I'd say, short of actually putting it into the bag, I'm probably 70% done.
Cool.
So yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I'm the same way. So I think I've talked about it, but I did a major basement remodel. It is perfect for packing for cycling trips. It's got a countertop that's 15 feet long. And so I've got all my stuff laid out there. And maybe I'm a little bit lucky that my wife is out of town. My wife's taking care of her father in another state. So I think she might kill me if she saw what I did. And so
it's all good.
I love you, Lauren. But no, she wouldn't kill me. She'd probably understand. But yes, I was going to try to do one large bag. I use those roller bags, and it's just not going to happen. I tried to use the packing cubes. I took I copied off you, full transparency. You had those. These are compressible packing cubes where you put everything in and then you zip them again to suck them down. And even though I did that and I started putting those squished down packing cubes inside the bag, by the time, you get all your jerseys and, clothes and stuff to sleep. And I'm looking at I'll let you talk about this later, but our charter and I'm looking at their list. I'm looking at brag.org's list of packing recommendations, making sure that knowing from prior times that I put stuff in that I just never use and going back and forth, it's just not going to work with one bag. So I think I'm going to have two bags that are not this time busting at the seams. I'm still happy with the packing cubes. It's definitely helps for organization and getting everything done. So I appreciate, you kind of showing me that. But it's definitely going to be two roller bags again. So, but oh well. On behalf of Adam
and Michael,
we both want to say thank you
for your support.
Yeah, it is what it is. You have to get all the stuff there. So.
Yeah. And, we bring some podcasting equipment and then and some libations and cigars and all that stuff. So it's like, oh, well, this is not all going to fit. So then I just kind of succumb to the idea of still going to try to make it minimal packing.
Make it a second very light bag. How about that?
I like that. That's even better. Mm-hmm. And we have to make room for our debrims. You did get your debrim, right?
Where's that viewfinder thing at? You finished talking.
Hey, I know that you're not a fan of debrims, but I will. I'll rock it for us. So,
if that's what you're calling it, then you go for it, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, where's this? I forgot about this. Just kidding. Now let me ask you, what's your plan for shoes this year?
Let it just go barefoot. How about that? No, I've got my shoes packed. I think if anybody remembers talking about it last year, and if you remember, I actually took 2 pairs of cycling shoes. Unnecessary, but you like to bring up the whole year that I went to Michigan and we did the 165 miles and I forgot my shoes and we couldn't find a replacement shoe. So I was in my Fila's all day, which I made it. But so then that kind of puts the fear in me and I'm like, uh-oh. So I wound up packing 2 pairs. I have the sandals and I had the shoes. So I actually had 2 pairs last year. I'm just planning on taking 1 pair this year, but I am planning on taking 1 pair. So I will have shoes.
Good. We always recommend derailleurs. Did you pack your derailleur?
The derailleur's on the bike. Now, I did pack an extra derailleur hanger.
Oh, sorry. Derailleur hanger, yes.
Oh, yes. I, after a couple years at Ragbri back-to-back where we had people on the different text chains that we were on websites or Facebook pages, and actually at that one place, somebody came around to our camp and was asking us because they busted the derailleur hanger. And even though we were at Ragbri and there's, I don't know, 2 dozen bike shops represented there, derailleur hangers are specific to every different bicycle and nobody had one. And ever since that time, I carry one with me. It's in my my bike bag. So just in case.
Did you update your computer?
I'm hoping you'll do that for me.
Oh, I usually do. I usually handle those technology logistics.
Yeah, I don't have time for that technology thing. You just you update it and then give it back to me and I'll slap it on the bike. So
no problem. You just follow that route real close.
I'm out in the middle of a field somewhere or going off a bridge that doesn't go all the way across and you just see me teeter off the end and splash.
You remember in 2018 in Ragbri?
Oh,
my computer wanted to put us out in the middle of a cornfield.
That one day, it seemed like every 5 minutes, it's like, turn here. Well, there's no turn. There's a barbed wire fence. And it was wanting us to go through a cornfield.
Yeah, I was so frustrated because I had just bought that computer. It was my first, and I love, by the way, I'm going to mention a name just because this is a cycling podcast, Wahoo. And I'm a huge Wahoo fan. I mean, I use a Hammerhead now, but Wahoo is like the Apple of bike computers, custom screens, everything. But that original one that I had, and maybe a setting that I had on or something, and I was so frustrated because I bought it right before Ragbri. It was like turn left, and I would say to you, "This damn thing wants me to turn left." Like turn left into what? It's a big culvert.
Like, there is no turn left, and it would just show the route, literally turning left and going through, and you'd like look to your left, and there's just this huge cornfield, and it's like, I don't think that's a good shortcut at all. But
no,
didn't you have to send that back though? And didn't they gave you a new one or they redid something and then sent it back? They were very good on the customer service.
I'm telling you,
they got you hooked up.
I'm not a sponsor. They're not a sponsor. I wish they were, but yes, I have to say their customer support was without a shot of a doubt. I mailed it to them. I had to show proof of purchase, which was no problem. I was able to do that. And once I showed proof of purchase, they actually drilled a hole through it, sent it back, and then they also sent me the new one. Drilled a hole through it, so I guess I couldn't reuse it. So
yeah. I mean, and I think if I remember right, and I could be wrong here, I think you were a little concerned because we had another ride coming up, and you worried you weren't going to get it in time for that next ride.
Yeah,
but you did.
Yeah, I did. Got it back, and on that trip, it did not take us to a cornfield. Although we got some good mileage out of the jokes, like, is it going to tell us to turn right in that lake right there? And I'm like, well, it's pretty hot. So
you always hear those stories about people who follow their car GPS and they end up in a lake, and it's like, or they end up on a road that just ends in the wilderness, and now things like that. So,
do you guys have seasonal roads by you?
No, we don't.
So in Michigan, as you would assume, we have seasonal roads. In the winter, it's like April 5th. You can't bring logging trucks down certain roads, and they're trying to make sure they firm up the.
Sure.
It's different ones. But my first GPS was a Magellan. This is not for bicycle, just to be clear. It was supposed to be for like backpacking, camping. Magellan. And then they came out with a piece of software that you could use for your car, and I mean, we're talking 20 years ago.
20. I was going to say 20 years.
Yeah, and I'll never forget that we were heading what we call up north, Michigan, and we were heading up north, and I put the address where we were going, and it was 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and just the story that you just told happened to us. It was like, get off the freeway, go 5 miles this way, turn left, and everyone's like, where the? I'm like, don't worry, guys, I got my GPS. I know right where we're going.
I trust technology.
And I'm standing up for the GPS. Don't worry. And sure enough, man, it turns us down this 2-track, and everyone's like, all right, this is enough. So anyways, and then I remember arguing with my father. I'm like, I got a GPS. And then I remember him saying, not like a big argument, but him saying, well, I think that's just a general location. I'm like, no, it's by satellite. He's like, well, I don't care if it's by satellite or not. That is not right. So
someone's satellite's a little jacked up.
He's was a pilot and he was very, map driven and
oh yeah.
But now the GPSs are just absolutely amazing. I mean, which kind of leads us to our next segment, which is, do you use, besides a bicycle computer, do you use any kind of technology for cycling events that you're going on besides the bike computer?
As far as technology, be more specific there? I use a lot of technology. We both do.
Like
the radars,
That's true. I'm more leaning and do you use any specific apps?
Oh, okay. Like for weather, for instance.
Yeah.
There is a couple that I use, especially for weather. I'm very keyed into weather now, especially after your buddy Jeff saved us in Iowa that one year.
Thank you, Jeff.
Ragbri, yes, that Ragbri got hit with the tornado. So yeah, I mean, as far as weather goes, I've always used kind of the Weather Underground as kind of my go-to app. Don't know why, just something my father always used.
It's underground.
It's underground.
Yeah.
Like, what do you know? Which is kind of weird. It's like, what do you know about the weather if you're underground? But hey, whatever. The other one that I find very interesting is Radar Scope.
Okay.
And now that is a paid service. It's not much. I think like $6 a month or something. But, it has a lot of great, as the name would imply, radar features. It's got like NexRad visuals. You can monitor hurricanes like, kind of that second by second that you see on TV, that type of thing. You access storm severity. It keeps you up to date if you're in a storm. The level of severity and stuff. It's very good when you're in a bad situation. I mean, you've got up-to-date radar, it's telling you exactly where you're at, what the level of the storm is, that kind of stuff. So that one's a good one too. It also gives good information around lightning data, which as a cyclist, I can appreciate. So
yes, that would be something you definitely want to know.
How about you?
I do two things, and one is I wouldn't say really download anything, but one of my tricks is, let's see if I can do this easy for those who enjoy us on YouTube.
He's giving away one of his pro tips.
Yeah, I'm going to show you. So this year, the ride for our first adventure starts in Rome, Georgia, and I'm hoping I can pull this off. But
Rome, if you want to. There you go. Yep.
There we go. I put Rome, Cartersville, Jasper, Dawsonville, and I put each city that I'm going to go to as a pre-measured or predetermined weather location. That way, throughout the week, especially like when we did Ragbri, I put every overnight town in there, Georgia, or every overnight town, and kind of gives me a couple different things. It gives me kind of like a metric across the state what I'm expecting temperature wise, and so right now it's reading right now, but it's telling me the high for today in Rome was 80, and so it goes anywhere across the state. is 80, 76, 77, 80, 83. And so I can see the highs for the week, and then I can also see the lows, and then
Now,
it shows me the weather. And so kind of helps me out.
now what app do you use to do that?
This is actually, I do have an iPhone. You do not have to have an iPhone, by the way. You could use, whatever. I'm sure Android has I'm just not familiar with it, and I apologize.
Okay, so you're just using Apple's weather app then.
That is correct, yeah.
Okay.
And
Cool.
so I just go to my weather app, and then I search for a city, and then you're able to save it. Matter of fact, I keep Lewisburg on there.
As you should. I mean, you got to know
Kansas.
if I'm getting pummeled with rain.
Well, the other night I saw that you were getting 70-mile-an-hour wind speed. So
Yeah, we pretty much had a hurricane. We had a shade over 70-mile-an-hour winds and heavy rains, and the rain was going sideways and all that. So it wasn't a good time, but it's Kansas. That happens.
I keep my hometown. I keep Orlando. I like to always see the weather in Orlando. It was 94 degrees there today. So
yes.
Very warm down there. But yes. And the other app that I specifically use is Windy. Now I want to give credit where credit is due. A few years ago, the same gentleman who saved our beep in Iowa told me about the Windy app, spelled Windy, just like it sounds. And what Windy does a few things, but what I like it for, cyclists are always either like a tailwind. Everybody loves a tailwind. Everybody hates a headwind. But if you actually can look as your current GPS location, you can actually look anywhere in the world if you want. But for cycling, specifically on the adventures, you can say, okay, I'm in Rome. Let's see what the wind's like. Rome to Cartersville, which is our first trip down the road. You can actually kind of look at both and say, okay, well, we're looking at either a storm or wind or whatever, and has a few radar features, but more it'll show you the speed of the wind and everything else. And so I think for cycling now,
hence the name
could be
Windy.
good or bad. I mean, let's be honest. If you're in one of those adventures, you have to go no matter what, right?
Yeah,
But
that could be demoralizing if you look at it ahead of time and it's like, wow, hey, we're starting off the morning. We got 20-mile-an-hour headwinds. That's yeah. If you see that, don't tell me.
I won't.
I won't. Even though I realize we've got headwinds, don't just.
But if I say, you know what, why don't we wait 2 hours to start? You'll know there's a reason why.
I'll be like, excellent. Donut break.
If you see me sitting down, slowing down, enjoying a coffee and saying, we're not going just yet, you'll know why.
You've been on the Windy app going, ooh, this doesn't look good. Okay, that's fair enough. So no, I mean, and there's probably another 200 of them out there that
Sure.
people can use, but it really blows my mind nowadays because of the technology we have available, that if you and I were doing what we're doing now, I was going to say 20 years ago, but I was doing this 20 years ago. Say, 30 years ago, even 20 years ago, honestly, we didn't have kind of that immediate access to up-to-date weather. You could listen to a local radio station, you could look in the sky, you could listen to the night before forecast. But nowadays, I mean, we've got it, minute by minute radar is telling us. So, I mean, it's just really incredible, the technology out there that we have available. And so I would suggest to everybody, regardless of what app you're using, download some weather app. I think Adam's idea is brilliant. Have the weather for every single day's stop. I personally don't do it because I have an Adam and Adam does it. So I'll be like, so what's the weather look like today? So I just ask him, but I think it's fantastic. And I think everybody needs to utilize technology to your advantage when you're out there on your bicycle. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and you and I definitely plan these things way in advance, and we we put a lot of logistics behind it to make sure that we have a better experience by doing it, which would also lead me to believe that if I'm watching the weather 10 days in advance, I don't put a lot of faith in it. But if it's like 5 days in advance, 4 days in advance, 3 days in advance, and I'm seeing the same thing, I may or may not reserve a hotel that's cancelable in the same day.
Or 30 minutes in advance.
Yeah, you did that before too.
You know, and I think this brings up another point. As much as I like to laugh about your debrim and that type of thing, it serves a purpose. And I understand what that purpose is. I mean, you're the type of guy that, you know, you stand too close to the microwave for 2 minutes and you know, got a nice crispy sunburn going. That my point here is, you know, make sure that you're watching the weather. Make sure that you are wearing sunscreen or some type of protective garment. And if that's a debrim, well, then that's a debrim. But you know, it's really important nowadays. I went out last weekend to a graduation. Who has graduations outside? I used to take pictures for a photography company when I was in college, and we took pictures for all the local colleges and universities around the area and all the high schools, and there was never one outside. I've been to hundreds of them. This one was outside, and I had no idea. Didn't say anything on the invitation or nothing. And so it is out in the bright sun, and I was out there for an hour, and my head was like, you know, bright red. So
could have used the debrim.
Well, I could have, but I didn't.
You would look really silly at a graduation.
Well, my point is, you know, we are in that season. The sun seems to be a little stronger than it used to be. So I'm just saying, you know, whether it's a debrim, whether it's sunscreen, I would suggest I've started, and you know this, a couple of years ago, I didn't wear the arm sleeves.
Yeah.
I do that all the time now. Number one, it blocks the sun. And number two, if it gets super hot, you just wet them down and you get a little extra cooling motion. Be it leg things, just be cautious and be prepared. The sun is out there. Wear the debrim if that's what's going to keep you from burning, because it can do some real damage. So there's my public service announcement for today. Sorry.
And now you know. No, on a serious note, I get asked all the time on my sun legs and sun arms, all the time. Isn't that hot? Yes, I want to be honest. When I'm standing and not moving on the bike, if I'm standing and we're talking, it can get a little warm. I'm not going to sit here and be dishonest. But when you're moving, you don't even feel it. You don't even feel it at all. I mean, but normally when you and we see the sun, we usually find some shade or something. You know, we don't stand out, and I'm not a very good piece of corn. I mean, I would turn into popcorn. But you're right. I do get sunburn. Fair skin. You've been with me on rides before. That's why I wear all that stuff. Do I realize that the brim looks kind of silly and stupid? Sure. But that's okay. And I'm willing to be silly and stupid.
It's got a purpose. And even though I'll admit it, I laugh about it all the time and make fun of it, I understand there is a purpose, and there's a serious purpose behind it. So
for sure,
I can respect the I don't respect the hat. I can respect the purpose of the hat. Fair enough.
It's my signature look. I mean, people, when I'm going down the road, remember Savannah?
You could wear a pink boa, and that could be your signature look too, but I wouldn't suggest
I cannot compete with Team Flamingo. Those guys aren't ragbri.
Good point.
I wouldn't look good in a pink boa, but
you're exactly right.
Hey, speaking of all this technology and apps and stuff, we always like to introduce other parts of leisure, not just cycling. We've kind of branched out a little bit. Let's talk about geocaching for a second.
I don't even know what that is. I get cash for being in a certain place. Geocache.
Yes, actually, you get cash, and then you see a guy named Geo, and he's like, "Hey, Michael, here's
Geo. Hey, welcome." Okay.
So for those of you who have never geocached, you're basically using GPS devices and clues and different tricks of the trade to find different caches, if you will, or a certain spot in a certain place, and there's books of them. You can search for them, and these could be out in the middle of the water where they're like on a buoy where you have to actually paddle out and then open it up and leave the log, that you found this item. But you can use all these GPS and devices to find these. I mean, there's some out on the. I mean, here. Oh, I know one. You're gonna like this.
Okay.
So, I was told about a cache. I've never done it myself. I'm familiar about it, but I was told about a cache in a library, and it's called the Dewey Geocache. Yes, we do.
Dewey, as in Dewey Decimal.
That's right. And it says the geocache description. Dewey Geocache? Yes, we do. And we have a book on it and hundreds of similar topics. And in this case, there's a cache inside of a library, and it says this cache will help you learn more about what this local building has to offer and teach your little about how to use it. The geocache has multiple parts, but they're all in the same building, meaning you can only hunt for this during operational hours due to the location. Stealth that is required, as muggles are all about. The website attached has our hours, and so then it has a decryption code here, and you can just different ways of finding different geocaches. And I mean, they've got Go Premium with the geocaching app. You can just go crazy with these things. But
let me understand this.
Okay.
Basically, they start you out at point A.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds a lot like back in the Boy Scout days when we did orientation things. We go from one point to the next, and then at that point, you would go to another point based upon a clue or something.
Yep.
And then you end at this log or whatever, and you sign it that you in fact did find it.
Yeah, and some of them have like milk crates, and so they stay waterproof. Not milk crates, but like a milk jug, so items stay waterproof. Or sometimes they literally are in watertight devices, so that you can open it up, sign the logbook. Or sometimes they give away things, like people will put little trinkets in there and say, "Hey, I left something in this cache." They went out and found it, and it gets people moving outside. A lot of times, it gets you hiking.
They need to do that for cycling. The cycling geocache. Do they?
They do bike. Yeah, they do bike ride with geocaching.
Oh,
so
well, we need to do that sometime, just to say we've done it.
Remember when we went to Shoreline in Michigan? We were outside of Dairy Queen, which was not geocaching.
Dairy Queen. You mean the Dairy Queen we were to like 2 or maybe 3 times in 2 days?
I think we were.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with a good bike ride and an ice cream.
Bikes and blizzards. That would be that would be a great ride. You ride from one town to the next, not hitting bars, but hitting Dairy Queens.
Oh man, I'm in. But we saw that van with the geocache on the back. Well, we actually didn't know.
We didn't know it was geocache, though. We didn't know what it was. It was like
a picture of it.
What was it? It was like one of those little
very weird QR code. It wasn't a QR code, but it was a very similar looking QR code.
And it was in the shape of something bizarre.
Yeah. And it turns out that I found out the terminology. It's called a trackable. And so you can actually, people have an app that they can scan. So if they find your vehicle, like, hey, I saw this vehicle parked at the St. Louis Arch, and then they take a picture of it. And then it says, oh, I found the same vehicle in Chicago the next day. We're like, that guy must have driven from St. Louis to Chicago.
I found your white van down by the river.
But what I was told would be cool, selling government cheese. But I was told that you could actually put these on your bike. So then if we actually went to each town, and we could show a map of everywhere our bike has been, which is like a Strava heat map, but just a different activity that you could do with some GPS technology.
So basically you're asking people to stalk you.
Well, actually, they're always one day behind.
Are they? Because when they take the picture, they're not.
Well, you don't have to post until the next day.
Oh, okay. Sounds a little creepy to me. But anyway, you're right. It is a good way to get outdoors and do different activities. And I'm not that familiar with it. I know we briefly have talked about it once or twice, but really didn't know that much about it.
Well, depending on how you have your Strava, and if you have it open posting, people
there you go. You're doing the same thing.
You. Yeah, I was going to say people could stalk you. Now that's why some people turn the sharing off to only friends only, or
I don't care. If somebody really wants to stalk me as I ride across Georgia or Indiana or wherever I'm riding, well then, hey, you need a better hobby, but go for it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can find him 13 steps down Monday through Friday.
Here in my basement, in my construction zone, that's where I'll be. So come on by. We'll have I'll have coffee for you. I'm not going to drink any of it.
If
but
you're
I'll
coming by, could you bring some ice cream?
There you go.
Well, listen. Speaking of that, is your young lady who is out for the summer going to be your personal assistant for the summer? Or?
I don't think so.
She's
very happy to be out. She starts high school next year.
Awesome.
I'm surprised we haven't heard her because she's having a sleepover with one of her friends, being the last day and all. But I don't know. I don't think she'll be my personal assistant, but we do have a couple of activities scheduled that her and I are going to do. And we're going to try to get some more just biking around the community more and that kind of stuff. So It should be fun. I'm looking forward to this summer.
Well, I know that she highly enjoys spending time with you, and I've been with you a few times, doing homework and stuff. So hopefully that lasts, because I know that there's that weird age where parents are uncool, and then kind of comes full circle where parents are cool again.
Though, so I'm pretty cool. I didn't tell. I think I did tell you this. I went on they needed parents for a field trip last Friday. And we went to Fort Scott Historical Society, and I volunteered. It's like, I'm a history guy. So I was like, yeah, I'll go if you need help. And so I went, and I got to, hang around with some of her friends all day. And, we saw how they, the laundress washed the clothes for the fort, and how they loaded cannons, and how the quartermaster did his job. And so, I'm still okay, sort of, maybe a little cool.
Dad. No, I'm just kidding. How did I do?
That was beautiful. I mean, that was like spot on. I love it. Okay, maybe I'm not cool, but I did hang out with a bunch of young people, so it was a good time.
Well, I'm excited that you're spending some of the summer with our adventures, and I'm happy that you guys are spending time together. So
yeah, it's a good time.
Moving on, sir, according to our outline, this is your chapter.
Oh, this is good. We are going to do something on Bragg that you and I have never done before. And now we've been doing these adventures for a long time now. And there are very few things cycling wise, when we go on especially these week-long rides, that is new for us. I mean, we've pretty much seen it all, did it all when you're dealing with week-long rides. But during Bragg, let me stop. Let me go back. About 4 episodes ago, we had some gentlemen on, Jimmy and Dave, from Padres Cycling In. We interviewed them. Cycle In. We interviewed them, talked about what they offered and what they were doing this year, because we had met them. We'd seen them a lot of places, but we had met them when we were doing Shoreline last year. Wound up at a distillery with them and their crew one evening, and had them on the show. And so you and I are going to be participating in a full service charter for Bragg. We have done these things independently. We have done these things with just, kind of the partial charter, where it's like, we get you a ride there. We have a campsite for you every night. But this is the first time we've ever done a full service charter. And so we are going to be with that group, and it'll be fun because, we'll meet some new people and try out their services and see what that's like. You realize we are getting to the point where we keep trying these things out, and it's going to be hard for us to go back.
Yeah.
I know 2 years ago we got to try out Franklin's
snooze box.
Snooze box, yes. And let me tell you, tried that out for a night, and the next night it was a little rough. I was like, oh man, this is not nearly as comfortable as I had last night. So, but we're gonna do that. They're full service. They, set up your tent, have your gear there for you. They take down your tent in the morning. They haul your gear back and put it on a truck and drive it to the next place. They have bike racks and charging stations. It's full service. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be cool. And I think that will give us some new subject matter to talk about. So, and then once we've done this, we've pretty much done the whole from independent, basic charter, full service charter, snooze box. We've done it all.
For sure. No, for sure. Definitely looking forward to it. I mean, they have towel service, and I'm looking on their website as you're talking, bike racks, maintenance, which is good. Texting alerts. You need to sign up for their text alerts, my friend. Anyways, and then they have a suggested items of packing as well. So yes, it is a different way for us to do brag, and really excited about that for sure. So
it's going to be, because normally we do inside, so we're not doing inside this year. We're going to do this, and don't worry, team, we're going to be easy to find because we've got our little flag we'll put out front, so you'll know exactly where we're at if you want to stop by. So it's going to be a new experience. I like this when we can try new things that we haven't done before.
No, I am too. Let's see here. Going to my list. Going good. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, which is Alex Bell, Dennis Keeler, and Scott Garwick. Thank you. Thank
Our ongoing sponsors, yes.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, guys.
Let's see here. I believe, unless you have anything. Oh, yes. I almost forgot. We are going to ask for a little bit of forgiveness. We've asked you this before.
We should ask for a lot of forgiveness, but that's okay.
Well, I'll take a little. I take a mile. Ask a little. Take a mile. Just kidding. We've asked you this before. You've always been so gracious to us and shown your support. This show comes out every 2 weeks. As many of you loyal listeners know, we know who you are because on day one, we see like 150 downloads. And then we're like, heck yeah. And so we appreciate your enthusiasm of listening and helping us. And along the way, Michael is able to find new areas and spotlight those. So we appreciate you that. We are going to bookend here with the listener spotlight, but that being said, technically, we really try our hardest to the point where we even set aside some of our other time to make sure we can meet the 2-week mark. Every Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern is when we like to release the show. 4 o'clock Eastern on June 8th, when the show comes out 2 weeks. Yeah, we're going to be traveling home from Bragg. But we are going to try our hardest to record, formalize our notes, put everything together, any clips that we've gathered along the way, which we're pretty excited. We've got an easier way to get some clips on the road now, so we're really excited about that. And we're going to put all that together, and we're really going to try our hardest to release the show on the 12th, on Thursday the 12th. So if you just give us a 4-day reprieve, we'd both be thankful. So
absolutely. Well, be a couple days late, but hopefully it'll be worth it. That's our goal.
I think it'll be worth it. Yeah. Usually we have some good stuff. And, last year we got to sit down with John, EMS
motorcycle guy. Yeah.
And we got Franklin. And so,
you know what we should do? We should sit down with like Stephanie.
I think that's a good idea.
Stephanie, because she
takes all the calls, emails.
She's working hard. She's taking all these emails. Yeah.
I mean, Franklin, he does kissing babies, hugging women, children.
Gets to go to Europe all the time. Stephanie's left to do all the heavy lifting.
Well, we'll have to make that
Stephanie,
happen.
I'd call the union if I were you, but that's just my suggestion.
Yes, I'm looking for the Bragg union, please. So,
who's my union rep?
I'm sorry, they're not available this month. How can we help you? So, all right. Well, listen. Why don't we wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen? It is my honor to introduce the next listener spotlight.
All right. I've got a good one here for you. And I don't know, it might be as easy. Apparently last episodes was easy. Well, I was glad to see so many people participated and we had, never before have we had 3 people get the right answer. So maybe it's a start. This community for Listener Spotlight began in the early 1860s. The name changed twice, not once, but twice before the Central Pacific Railroad selected its current name in the late 1860s. Its current name honors a Native people's chief. Historically, it is best known for a disaster that occurred nearby. And the final one is, snow helped elevate this town into notoriety. Pretty easy, huh?
No.
Well, I'll give you a hint. It's not St. Louis, and it's not Huntsville.
Well, thank you for the Huntsville. I mean, I just was thinking that I'm going to give you some. Just hold a straight face because this is on YouTube as well. Initial thoughts.
Okay.
When you said disaster, I was thinking of the Chicago fires, and there is snow there, but I don't think Chicago is a Indian chief. 1860s, Union Pacific. Anyways, that's my first.
Okay.
That's what.
Well, the great Iroquois leader, Chicago. Oh, wait, no, there wasn't. Okay.
Hey, at least I'm finally giving you some decent.
I appreciate because you're stepping up your participation in this because before it was just like St. Louis. I'm going to say St. Louis until he does St. Louis. So I appreciate it.
By the way, I get the same report you do. And we do have listeners in St. Louis. So
we have several listeners in St. Louis.
That's why I thought you were going to use St. Louis a couple of times because it would show there was downloads in St. Louis. I'm like, oh, this one's St. Louis because I'm looking at the same report you do.
Yeah, well,
you can run the report a different way, though. I know you can. So,
and sometimes I'm looking at trying to pull things from different areas of the country or trying to pull things from. Sometimes I just see cities that I don't know anything about, honestly. And I'm like, I wonder what goes on in that town. And
I could just
honestly,
see
that's
in your personal life.
What's that?
This is what I picture. You're having dinner with your family and you're like, did you guys know that in Huntsville, Alabama, blah, 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 blah. And your daughter's like, okay, Dad, how did you learn that? Well,
let me tell you, you should listen to Listener Spotlight. Yeah. But, Huntsville is the rocket city of America. So that one was pretty good.
Man.
Yeah. So my family does get a little tired of my trivia sometimes, but honestly, there's a lot of times I will see a town, a city, and I'll just be like, I'm not familiar with that one. And then there'll be times when I'll go, I'm not familiar with that. And then I start doing research and it's like, wait a minute, I've been to this place, so.
I will tell you that there was a funny conversation. I was something organic I was talking to. And someone said, well, I'm not a narcissistic person like yourself who has a podcast. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? I'm like, well, okay, good point.
Yeah, we like to laugh at ourselves, so why not?
That's right.
So there we have it. If you guys have an answer to what the listener spotlight for this episode might be, drop us a line.
Well, we are looking forward to our adventure across Georgia, Rome to Hartsville, and not so many miles this time, more elevation, 20,000 plus feet of elevation throughout the week. And we've got a lot of our friends we can't wait to see, to give Franklin's mother, Franklin, the executive director of Bragg, some kudos. I really love the idea of summer camp, bicycle summer camp. I'm behind the scenes. A few people have messaged us about the day that we're doing kart racing. A lot of people who listen to the show, we thank you. We can't wait to see you. We're truly excited. This is one we're really looking forward to. So, in that note, I know very soon for both of us, it will be indeed a great day for a bike ride.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Adam.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you for coming along with Adam and Michael on Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe to the show on the podcast app of your choice.
Hey, we just wanted to remind you that we've got some really cool products at our jersey and our swag store.
That's right. You can visit cyclingmenofleisure.com. At the top of the page, you'll find our stores page. Click there. There's 2 QR codes. The one on the left has a J on it. That's the store for the jerseys. The one on the right is just a swag store. Has all kinds of different items. Kind of customizable. You can kind of make the swag the way you want it. If the QR codes are giving you an issue, don't worry. Underneath, there's 2 buttons that you can click on. Thank you, and have a great day.